Oh, what's this then? So what? Ben made a video? All right, let's take a look. What's going on? What's going on? I've seen
Lol.
some things about it. It's been quite polarizing, but hey, I guess we'll find out. I'm quite
I don't feel like
curious.
I have the energy right now, but whenever I do want to actually give a proper like PoE 2 talk, I can give you
Yeah.
a preview of what the first like 5 words are going to be. I don't
Okay.
understand why PoE 2 exists. That's where it starts. You
What?
know what? Maybe I do have the energy. Maybe I do. Like the original scope for PoE 2 was new campaign, new class, new ascendancies, new gems,
Yeah.
and a new gem system, right? Like that was the original scope, but shared endgame. And when we think about PoE 2, what is good? It is exclusively the things that I just said. It's the campaign. Like
Campaign.
the one single thing.
Campaign user experience has been vastly improved. It's way superior to Path of Exile 1. And the game's been out for 10 fucking years. It's actually quite silly that the user experience has not like changed at all whenever you start playing the game for the first time. It's quite sad because the game is actually the game's good. Damn, the game's good. But look, all right, let's see what he's got to say because yeah,
That PoE 2
true,
actually does better than
based,
the first game is the new player experience in the campaign. It is so much fucking better. Like
true.
like this game's campaign experience is fucking dog shit if you don't know what's happening. Like vendors use like 9 different currencies to buy things, gems, or 9 different currencies.
Mm,
Like it sucks. It's really bad. Whereas
maybe.
in PoE
Okay,
2,
I don't
like
mind
the
it, but
uncut skill
sure.
gems and the
There's a lot of
like the
shit in the
vendors all
game.
being gold, it's so much easier to like follow and understand what's happening.
Yeah,
The like hand holding of the gem system for recommended stuff,
a much
even though
better
often it's not
system.
the
Yes,
best, is way
on
better
the
than
surface, in theory,
here's a
yes.
window with 95 gems in it, good fucking luck. The way the game kind of pushes you into these like archetypes of like lightning versus whatever else, like it all kind of just, it's just way easier. The game is way easier to play if you don't know what's happening. And that's really good. And the
I mean,
moment you
evidently
leave
so.
Act
There's
3, or really
still
Act 6 maybe,
150,000
and
players
start
right now
mapping,
playing the
it
game after
just
two
is bad.
months.
Like if I think about every single change from the first game to the second game, I almost can't think of a single positive change when it comes to actual in-game content.
Wow. Okay. Let's just digest this for a second here. Not a single positive change from the systems that have been implemented from PoE 1 to PoE 2. Hmm. What systems are better? Systems, well, the gem system. The gem system is way more intuitive, right? There's way more room for error, which improves the experience of new players trying out new things. The problem, what I'm hearing is like the lack of agency, especially on the higher end. You gotta understand that this person over here is a fucking sweat. Like he is swamp arsing every fucking day in Path of Exile, and as you can see here, he's playing PoE 1 because he has not enough of Path of Exile 2. There's not enough for him. He fucking consumes it like Galactus. Um, yeah, it's true that there is a lack of content. Like, holy shit, is that really like a hot take? It's just is what it is at the moment, and I firmly believe that GGG will continue to add more content and add more things that will make the game fundamentally more interesting. It was just the fact that this shift was necessary. Okay, we've got better graphics, we've got a more intuitive player design, we've got all of the fat trimmed down, which means they can rebuild the fundamentals and just make it flourish with new systems. More things can be added now. You gotta understand, if Path of Exile 2 was never released and they just kept iterating on Path of Exile 1, now people can say that, refine a diamond, it will, be much better, but the sad reality is that it will come to a slop fest like what World of Warcraft is. There's just too much shit. Too much. Okay? And I love that kind of shit. I love like 10 miles wide and 10 miles deep. I love that thing. But many players evidently do not. Okay? Many players are not willing to spend that kind of time into a video game and the whole thing with 100 hours in. It gets good. People don't have that kind of time investment, and I have a 9 to 5. Yeah, I find the time, but I don't have kids. I don't have like other responsibilities that many other people do. So I completely see why this could be an issue, but it was a necessary advancement that GGG has made, and I think it's a completely a positive one. And many players are not happy with the fact that PoE 2 is not PoE 1. So, yeah.
Like the change from killing a map boss to killing all rares. Who
Mm.
wants that? Like every time I hit tab and scroll through a map trying to find
That is
the
bad.
rare that's hiding
He's
in a
talking about the
corner
res, yeah.
to kill to get
It
progress, like it's just
Look, yeah, they've added what they call the checkpoints on the maps, and I feel like that's a band-aid, and I think everyone will agree with me here. I think this is completely valid. Like, yes, it fucking sucks. Let's be honest here for a second. It fucking sucks. I don't like it, but I do like killing res in this game. Yeah, I do like how they drop loot. You know, it makes me want to kill more res. I kind of like that. But like backpedaling and tracking all the way, like spamming this and this and that, like just remove this shit. You know what I was thinking? What would be really nice if, let's say, they had something of a very similar system to D4. You know how you'd complete like a nightmare dungeon, and once you pass a certain threshold, the mobs just fucking swarm you, and like the last 20 mobs, so you don't actually have to go and find them. What if GGG made something like make the AI, once you pass a certain threshold, they start coming at you from the distance instead of like spawning in, right? Let's say the res specifically, not like just the regular mobs, but the res specifically, they kind of get alerted that you're on the map, and they start slowly coming forward to you rather than you coming to them. You still have to track, and there needs to be some balancing around that. But I think that would be a nice thing to have, no? But that's just me. I don't know. Let's see
bad.
what he's got to say.
The map bosses aren't in every map. Why? Map bosses are cool. They're fun.
My
Why can't
bosses
I kill
are
an
cool.
tower without fighting one sometimes?
Yeah,
It makes no
another
sense.
notable
Towers?
step up from
Jesus
PoE
Christ.
1.
Sections got depreciated because they
Graphically,
were tedious, and sections
mechanically,
are like 1,000 times better than towers.
yeah, it was
Map
amazing. It's
layouts,
amazing.
like the worst PoE 1 map layout is S plus in PoE 2. I didn't even think it was possible to design map
I
layouts that
think
are
I
so
think the main concern here for the maps is how big they are. Let's be honest. If the map size was reduced down by at least 15 to 20%, people are going to be way happier.
fun. And
I'm
checkpoints
fine
got
with it.
added. Jesus, man. Fucking checkpoints. The moment people started asking for checkpoints in maps, that should have been infinite fucking red flags exploding out of every single corner. If layouts are so dog shit that players want checkpoints,
Hmm.
that needs to be like a complete redesign of how layouts work. It's like, how are 80% of layouts like unrunnable? Like fucking Mire, like Augury, like the way loot works in the end game,
I hate
95%
I
of
don't
all
I
items
dislike it with a
drop from rare
passion.
monsters. Every
How
single trash
narrow it
monster,
is, even
there's no
just the
reason to kill it
visual
except for
style of
experience. It won't drop loot. It'll
Myro.
never
I
drop loot that
fucking hate
matters. And
that.
like the breach problem as well. Like 90% of all loot comes from breaches. And like so much of the shit is like, oh, you can hand it away with, oh, it's early access. But is it really? Like, I mean, to me, when I hear like early access slash beta, what I think is this is an unfinished game that's going to be changed a lot
Hmm.
constantly. It's been 2 months. What's changed? What's fucking changed? There's not even balance.
I think the reason why things have not been drastically changed is because if you think about it from the game's developer's perspective, is that they need to collect as much data as they possibly can, and part of that is sacrificing the players. You can't make a great game without the data that you need. Okay, and they need the data to test the fundamentals. And if they start changing things too rapidly too soon, then they will really not know what or where they have gone wrong. Okay, so it's actually from a game developer's perspective, I completely understand that they just want to prolong that a little bit more while they're cooking up some things, which I believe they are. You know, they throw out some bandits on some of the core issues, like for example the maps. They're a little bit tedious. That is the word that's going around. That is completely true. But what Ben is saying, it's not untrue. You know, it is still absolutely valid, and I can see why people are concerned with it.
Changes happening until resets come out, like with new leagues, as if it's a fully released game. I don't fucking get it, man. I don't get it. If PoE 2 stayed with its original scope of new campaign, new gym system, shared endgame, God, it would have been so fucking sick. But like that endgame, it's not even like, oh, just needs time to cook. It's just like every single change feels like it's just a change
But
because
it is a compounding effect, and that's exactly what this take is. When you've been playing the game for as long as Ben is playing the game for Path of Exile from 1 even or 2, this is just what's been happening. It's like a compounding effect that will alter the player's experience from start to finish, and it is what we are lacking: the compound, the multiplier. We don't have ways to that we have of the agency that's in Path of Exile 1, and I think that's the cry here. That's what I'm hearing.
needed to be different than the first game. But I don't understand how it's better. And the phrase meaningful combat, I swear to God, I've heard the phrase meaningful combat 100 times in the last, like, 2 years. PoE2 has the most meaningless combat of any single RPG I've ever played. It doesn't exist. There is no combat. Every single build, you use one button, you right-click.
I mean, have you played a Quinn's build? Just play a Quinn's build. There we go. If you play a Quinn's build, you will have no issue with, with overpower. That's for certain. Just do that.
The entire screen explodes. Like, what the fuck? Why? Why is that a thing? Why is that still a thing 2 months later? Like, people are gonna be so
But I get
used
what
to
you're
that,
saying.
that when they finally take it away, there's gonna be so much complaining. And it is just so boring. Like, killing monsters in that game is so boring because you don't do anything. Even when I tried to, like, not do that kind of setup, like, and intentionally skipped heralds on crossbows, it's the same thing. You press Galvanic Arrow, the entire screen explodes. Even this character, like, this character falls into the category of one-button builds.
I think the argument of saying, oh, but just don't use it is bad. It's bad. I think there needs to be a middle ground, and I'm thinking on its extremes, it does the extremes far too extreme, and on the lows, it's far too extreme as well. So I think we're lacking a middle ground here, and that is the make or break. That's why this is so polarizing, because in reality, I think Ben actually like really loves the game and wants it to succeed. I think we all are. But yeah, I hear this.
Like, this be referred to as a one-button build in Path of Exile 1.
It trivializes
Like, an
every
expedition,
single piece of content. Just
before I
slapping on
chess,
Herald
I
of
would
Ice,
Enduring
you can make
Cry,
it work
dodge
with
monster
anything.
abilities with Shield Charge and Frostblank, right-click, press Valgrace as a defensive button whenever I felt like it, drop Flame Walls on targets to buff my shit and do more damage, and Sniper Smart and the Pinky Bears in there. In Path of Exile 2, you right-click. I don't know. I feel like splitting the game, like maybe splitting the game.
Lack
to
of
save
gems,
Path of Exile
again.
1 from having a bunch of changes that fucked it up, but like, goddamn, dude, that end game is like. It's not even like, oh, it just needs time. It's
Looking at
just
this
doomed.
really
It's
makes me
fucking
want to play
doomed,
Path of
man.
Exile 1 again.
I'm
Holy
doomed.
shit,
I'm so
when's
doomed on that
3.26
endgame.
coming out?
No. Campaign's good. Campaign's fun. Everything after the campaign, why? It's intelligent to go full nuke. Have you played a bad build in PoE 2 yet? Because I have. I have. That's how I started PoE 2. Was in multiple bad melee builds. It's like Titan, if you play it properly, is really good. If you do Herald Abuse, you just one-shot the screen easily. But like playing actual bad melee builds, the pushy, no phasing system genuinely made me almost quit the game on day 3. Like, it's just like the clunkiest, least fun combat I've ever experienced.
I disagree with this. I think melee combat definitely needs like some kind of rework in terms of balancing and like the speed of things and how that's going to play out. But when you actually play the game, right, and you're not trying to do the greatest build in the game, like Herald of Ice, abuse, and whatnot, when you're just trying things out, whenever I first tried it, I think I had really a really good time with it. I think I don't think it's bad. I just feel like we've got a lack of options right now, and that's the whole complaint.
When
That's
playing
all I'm
bad
hearing.
builds, and then when playing good builds, the thing with Path of Exile 1, when you get to a character that's like fucking just zoomer, cracked, completely broken, the game is still, like, the game keeps getting more and more fun. Because there's one super important thing you can do in this game, and that is scale speed. Like, when it comes to how a character functions in ARPGs,
I
there's,
agree.
like, 3 categories.
I agree.
There's defense, offense, and speed. And this game, you are constantly being just like thrown into scenarios where you're
Yeah.
choosing one of the 3. And anytime you choose one, the other 2 suffer a little bit. In PoE 2, it took me
You don't really have that
by level
choice.
90, like, my Titan would right-click and one-shot the whole screen. And from that point forward, there's nothing that I could ever do to improve the character. I could play for 1,000
Just I
hours,
guess
it would
more
never get
damage
better,
is what you
unless
can
I,
do
like,
with more
migrate to
items,
trade
but
lane
that's
and block
about
my
it.
routes,
Yeah.
Because there's no way to invest in speed. except
Depth
one
of
dumbass meeting.
combat.
Oh, how did
needs to the depth of combat, the ceiling of it needs to be raised higher. That is what I'm hearing. Absolutely, and I think that's true.
I didn't even talk about crafting. Holy shit. That was like a 10-minute rant. I didn't talk about
Oh
crafting.
shit,
My God.
boys! Oh
Gear
fuck!
acquisition. What the
Crafting.
fuck? Do I need to...
Crafting's bad, isn't it? Oh my god, it's just a gambling fest. Oh my god, crafting is not very, very good, is it? I already know what he's got to say about crafting.
I don't know if I even want to bother. Like, fuck me. Long before PoE 2 came out, we had to talk about why other ARPGs suck compared to Path of Exile 1. Like, one defining factor that was super important to me. If the only way to get gear is to kill a monster and hope it drops a good item, that's really bad. That's really, really, really bad. And that was like D3's problem. That kind of became D4's problem as well.
Man, I
Like,
hope, I really do hope
and PB1
that
is
they
like
move into
8
the
systems
direction
that are,
of
that
creating
all are good in
more
their own
ways
individual
of crafting. I do
Essences,
hope that
Orbis,
this is the
Delve,
case.
Metacrafting, Scouralking, all
At the
things
same
accommodating right
time,
now.
I
Like, there's
don't
so many
want
different
Path of
things, and they're
Exile
all
2 to
good for
become
different
PoE 1.
items. And then also in the early game, like day 1, day 2, first 20, 30
Not
hours,
really.
like you wear shit you ID'd off the ground. Like that has a place too, but it just gets outscaled, which I think is good. Every single map that I run in PoE 2, I have to pick up every single base type of every single item that I could ever wear, put them all in a quad tab, and then eventually when I get enough, I alch them all, / like augment, transmute, regal, whatever.
Yeah.
And then 3-to-1 them in the most like tedious fucking clunky way ever. Like the 3-to-1 thing, instead of being a vendor, like the whole vendoring
I don't
being
like the
split up
Reforge.
into like 6 different systems is one of those changes that's the exact same as the well. It is thematically good. It makes sense in universe, lore wise, it's good. But when I'm playing the game, I don't care about that. I care about fun. And if I want to turn 21 necrotic armors into 7 rare necrotic armors, I'd rather just vendor all of them at once. I mean, necrotic armors you can't do because, you know, they don't really fit in the window. But like with smaller things, like if I have 40 breach rings, I could just vendor 40 of them and get back like 16 rares. But instead, it's like I'm gonna spend 2 minutes doing a little 3-to-1 fucking thing with an animation. It's like cool, it looks cool, lore, themes, cool. But like, it's so tedious. Tedious is like
Tedious
the key word
again.
for everything regarding the endgame mapping and whatnot. Like I do a map, I leave, I scrap certain things based on if they have quality or sockets. I maybe disenchant if I need regal shards. I vendor if not, but only vendor bad bases that I picked up. Good bases have to go into a certain quad tab, and there's no affinities for any of this, and there never will be because you can't really set them up that way. And then
For
you go
now.
back to your main quad tab to dump in.
There
all the
will
other
absolutely
shit,
be
and
more
it's like, there's just, like, so
affinities.
much shit.
Yeah.
Like one of the best things about this game
100%.
in the end game is when you reach a point where you stop picking up 6 sockets, you've outscaled rare items off the ground, and you leave the game or the map. You dump into your quad tab. 90% of your loot is going into affinity tabs. You put in the next map, you go. You can just grind. And map prepping, holy. Like, I'm currently at, like, the worst part of Path of Exile 1 map prepping, which is I'm still doing blue maps. My sustain isn't good enough to bulk roll, and it's still, like, way nicer because I don't have that horrendous fucking Atlas tree. I can run maps that I want to run when I want to run them. I can
Yep, that's true.
roll them
Yep,
bulk,
the
like, 20 in advance,
the
and
Atlas
then just
in
grab
its
all
current
20
iteration is kind of
just
dog
fucking
shit, but
blast.
they already said that they've already addressed that they feel like it's not interesting enough, and in one of the recent podcasts that they did after the updates, they addressed that. So yeah, I think absolutely, with no doubt, it will be improved, and it'll be more like PoE 1 than you can imagine.
On the Atlas Passage tree, there is no Atlas Passage tree. You have 30 points, and they all say you drop more loot. Like, they all say you drop 1% more loot.
Yeah, no,
is
that's
one of
bad
the things
games,
where,
though.
like, that will naturally get fixed as more stuff gets added to the game. They'll expand that. Like, that's one of the things you can kind of hand wave away with, like, oh, it's EA. Like, so much of it is like it's not like the game is just lacking content. That's not the problem. Like, most of it is like very intentional choices that are like neat, that look good. But when it comes to actually playing the game, it just feels so fucking tedious and doesn't know what it wants to be. That's where I feel like the gem system currently is. I feel like the gem system doesn't know what it wants to be. Because originally gems were going to be not damage multipliers. Like, supports were not going to be damage multipliers. But then they made them damage multipliers, and then they added a 1 support gem limit, which just feels really weird. Like, I don't like it at all where it currently is.
Yeah.
I feel like either of the other options are better than what it currently is. It's in this, like, weird, like, halfway point. Where, like, making it so there's no damage multipliers on support.
I don't mind a bit of a hot take here. I don't mind the gem system as it is now, although I would love to see it improve a little bit more. I don't know, maybe more gems is the answer, more support support gems as the
I
answer.
want to use multiple active
However,
skills and I can't.
using like
I'm sitting there
anything
on a 5
that I
link, and
want
getting a 6 link wouldn't matter
in Path
because
of
there's
Exile
not a support
1
gem that works
was
that actually helps
definitely
and
the
it's like,
most
that just feels really
captivating
weird.
thing for me.
Maybe as they add more active
The
gems to the game,
flexibility
that'll be better
between
if they
choice
also add more supports, but,
was
like, I don't know if they will. We'll see if they will. Oh shit,
uncomparable
the mana cost. Wait, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not
to
gonna
any
bother.
other
The
game that I've
funniest thing was when
experienced.
Karm was bitching in guild chat. He got like an insane weapon, super good weapon, like fucking 700 top end plus 7, and his hammer of the gods cost more mana than his character had.
Balancing issue again, yeah, for sure. That's kind of fucked, GGG. What the fuck? Fix your game!
Maybe port back the gem system, but without the one support gem on it. Because I like that's genuinely the thing that I've been most excited for since fucking 2020 when they announced that shit. Like that gem system has so much more potential than this one does. I don't like its current, like the way it currently works, but like it could be so good, especially in the campaign. Like, God, dude, gems in the campaign are so fucking bad in Path of Exile 1. Like, you just wear, like, your Act 1 3 link for 4 acts, then you wear your Act 3 4 link for 10 acts, because, like, you don't have currency manipulating tools for your sockets and server and maps. And
that is true.
Like, it's so dog shit in the campaign. Like, that gem system plus new ascendancies, what a beautiful world it could have been. I don't like the investment you have to do on a single gem in PoE 2. So one thing that feels kind of weird about that right now, it feels like the drop rate and the whole way the gem system works would make more sense if you instead 6-linked your character slot, not the
no,
gem
that doesn't
itself.
work.
But the problem with that is you can't trade that. So like as soon as you consume that thing, you can't trade it, which I'm pretty sure is why it doesn't work that way.
They will never implement something like
but,
that.
like,
It needs to be
things being
tradable.
tradable is very important to them. It always has been. Like, you make a good item, you can then trade it.
They've said
later.
that
You 6-link
multiple
that item,
times.
you can still trade it later. So like the
I think
gem
it's really
itself
important.
being the thing that
I
gets
think it's
6-linked
important.
makes sense because
Even
then
though
you
I
can
played
trade it later if you want to.
HCSSF as well.
But the downside of that is like the ability to test different skills is kind of limited as soon as you're in the end game, because if you 5-link a skill and you kind of like are like, wait, now I want to test this other one that's thematically similar but not quite the same. In this game you can just swap your gems and your thing, but in that game you can't, because like the gem itself is the 5-link. I don't really know what that's a bad thing though, but I also generally play the game with pretty, like, I plan out everything I'm gonna do very far in advance, so like I don't really run into the negatives of that. I feel like in the campaign you can easily like test 3 links and 4 links constantly and test new skills, and by the time you get a 5-link you should like kind of know what you want, I guess.
There's a lot of
But if you find,
pre-planning
like, a shit
for
skill,
sure in
can it
Path of
actually
Exile
sell? I
1,
haven't
yeah.
looked at trade markets and whatnot. And can essences please drop 100 active views one
I think
for
that
2 days?
is partly
I did
good,
100
but then at
rarity
the same time,
for,
Path of Exile
like,
2
10
does
days
that way
playtime and
better.
didn't drop a single one.
Way
I actually got the
better.
154 rarity for 10 days playtime farming Breach with rares. I got one perfect 6-link on like day 2 on a no rarity character, and I got my last one like a day before I stopped playing. But I think that was just unlucky. Like most people that I saw had better RNG there. Like fucking Alk rolled hardcore self and had 2 in like a day. He's just better. Oh, also one other good thing to talk about instead of only talking about the bad things. The Breach boss is fucking sick. That boss is really good. And Arbiter Phase 2 is pretty sick too.
I did it.
I'm
Most
so
most
surprised
recently,
by how
I did
those
it.
things
It
are
was great.
happening, though.
I did it
That's the thing that
ethically
really
as
stood
well.
out to me. For an EA
One
game,
bell,
like, there's
one
just
bell.
so little being changed. I feel
Defeated
like
it.
they're afraid to nerf things because they know
Defeated
when they
Arbiter
fix
as
the
well.
current broken ass builds, people are gonna be mad. But I you gotta rip the band-aid off. I don't think waiting is good. Like when they do the reset, it's gonna or like when they do the nerf, it's gonna be with an economy reset, which is like obviously the ideal solution for a finished game. That's how it always should be in a finished game. But I just feel like first impressions of like how a game plays is like, really important.
I think
Like,
they're
if we
holding
did for-
content a
we're
little
coming
bit.
up on 2
Yeah.
months, and we don't-
I
it's
think
like
they're
you
holding
get through
content
hunters,
until
so,
they
like,
can
it's gonna be
bundle
3
everything
months
together
before the
and
first
then,
reset, and it's
yeah,
still, like,
just
3
release it on
months
one
of
big
combat
fat
being
fucking
wiped. What I have to
patch.
assume is no.
And I'm looking forward to that day.
There's no way they're happy with the current combat in PoE 2. It's not even just Herald of Ice though. Like that's a big one, but like even non-Herald builds kind of do the same thing. Like Galvanic Arrow does the same thing. Lightning Arrow without Herald of Ice can do the same thing. It's a little bit weaker, but just like the general, like I just like they talked so much about combos, about like you're gonna use multiple skills in PoE.
Yeah, with the
I
monk,
haven't even
yeah.
come close. Like I haven't played a single build that uses even half.
The
amount
combo
of
that
skills
you
that
use is
someone
like
uses.
5
I played
fucking
every single
bells.
archetype. Like I think the build that I play that has the most character input in terms of like you press buttons to kill monsters is Spark, which is like historically kind of considered to be a non-interactive playstyle. Like you just press a button and the whole screen gets covered in proj, but somehow Spark, from like a character input point of view, has been the most engaging combat of any of the. Or
Yeah,
like
because
the
of the
most engaging
knockback.
boss
Yeah,
kill
yeah, yeah.
fun combat. 'Cause
I
it's
can
pretty
see
fucking
that.
engaging to get your shit pushed in by trash monsters that can push you across the screen whenever they want on a melee character that can't kill anything. It's pretty engaging. It's just not fun. Didn't play minions. I did play minions until Act 3. I played minions until Act 3, learned that when if you outrange them, they despawn and logged out.
For me,
They
minions was
fixed
so
that,
boring.
apparently, so
It was
I'm
so
not gonna
boring. I
When they add
re-rolled to
specters, maybe I'll
HCSSF.
try it ends again. We'll see. 326 when? How long does this go on YouTube? I don't know. I normally, like, the reason it's taking me like
Yeah.
2 months to really put it all into words is because I really don't like being negative. I want to enjoy things, but like, goddamn. And I just wanted to like wait, you know, give them time to cook, time to change things and fix things. But it's been 2 fucking months.
Hey, they
Who
will.
knows?
They will
Who
change it.
knows?
It will
But
happen,
this Path of
Ben.
Exile 1 silly.
Okay, you just gotta believe. You gotta smoke symbiotes or whatever you need to do. It will happen. I believe firmly that this is all legitimately, without like memeing right now. Early access, it's legitimately an early access. You can spin it off the way you want to spin it off, but at the end of the day, it's early access, and well, the game's been in development for however long, and it's going to be for another year or maybe a year and a half until the game is like fully fleshed out. And that's just the sad reality of it. If you think about it, we don't even have the half of the ascendancies yet. And this game is already better than D4. It's not even actually close. They're not even in the same fucking universe. But yeah, hey, it's going to happen. It's it's a good video. It's a good video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.